The northern shores of Sri Lanka have experienced unusual marine phenomenon. On Wednesday, a pod of whales beached in Sampur, Trincomalee, and in the early hours of this morning, hundreds of thousands of dead fish were seen floating along the shoreline in the seas of Mullaitivu. Are the two events just a coincidence, or is there a connection?
The National Aquatic Resources Research and Development Agency are still testing the dead fish. However, we spoke to marine biologist Daniel Fernando for some insight on what could possibly be the causes of this marine activity.
Is there any reason for a large amount of fish to all of a sudden surface dead?
Well, it's not something that happens very often. We have seen occurrences of similar events in other parts of the world. Unfortunately, without getting more information on what actually took place in Sri Lanka, it's difficult for us to say for sure what the reasons could be. But potential reasons that have resulted in similar events in other parts of the world include primarily harmful algal blooms, and this is basically when an excess amount of nutrients is in the water, which could either be due to excess rainfall, which has resulted in a lot of fresh water entering the system, and these excess nutrients then result in a bloom of algae, and this algae can sometimes produce harmful toxins which could directly kill the fish.
What's the main reason for whales to just wash up ashore?
So when one of the animals beaches itself by accident, it's quite likely that the rest of the pod will follow to try and stay close to this individual. Another potential reason could be some sort of underwater interference that has resulted, that has negatively impacted their sonar that they use for navigation. So this could result in them beaching.
And then now we have certain theories coming up that there is a link between the fish dying in Muttur and whales washing up ashore in Trincomalee. Is there any link? Are we supposed to be worried about it?
I personally think that it's quite unlikely that there is a link between the two of them, and if there is a link, it's probably on a much larger scale, simply related to the cyclonic activities that we have had in the region, the general bad weather, which could have potentially affected these two. So it basically comes back to climate change as a whole.
It is also reported that there was seismic activity taking place in the seas of Indonesia. Could there be any possible link between these two incidents?
I personally think that it's highly improbable that there is any link between the seismic activities and the fish beaching.
We saw the United States pull out of the Paris Agreement. Now, what if Sri Lanka pulls out of this agreement? What kind of repercussions would it make?
Unfortunately, it would not be a positive thing at all, because climate change is fact. It is happening. There's no denying that whatsoever, and we are seeing on a daily event just the floods that have taken place in the last few weeks that could potentially be linked as well. So pulling out is certainly not something that we should consider at all, and I think we should be committing more towards combating climate change in this country.